Here with TCU head coach Sonny Dykes, coach, Texas High School Coaching Association. How important is that group and how unique is that group as somebody who's coached outside the state before?
Yeah, I mean, it's very unique. One of the most powerful, really, organizations that I've ever dealt with. And I think that, you know, it's great because they wield a lot of power and they wield a lot of power and their objective is to take care of, you know, high school kids, you know, that participate in athletics and really in extracurricular activities. So it's a very powerful organization. It's a strong organization. The guys do an incredible job of having a really clear objective, which is to serve young people and provide a great experience for them. And it's just a great organization. Really, the key to recruiting for us has always been relationships and getting to know people, and the high school coaches are so critical to that process.
I was at that panel discussion yesterday, and y'all were talking about school vouchers and just how important it is to use your voice and to keep that out of the state. Could you talk a little bit more about the importance of that?
Yeah, there's just to me what makes Texas unique and special is just the community, how the community rallies behind the local football team. And you know, I know that there's all kinds of legislation to do a lot of different things, whether it's allow transfers or whatever the case may be, or vouchers to go to private schools and charter schools. It's just, you know, to me, that's what's made Texas special, has been kids going to public schools, kids participating in athletics in those public schools, and the community rallying behind those kids. And you know, we have such a unique thing here. I don't know why we'd want to change it because it's worked well for so long. You know, I mean, there's a special thing about Texas Friday Night Lights. I mean, there just is, and we certainly don't want to lose that.
I had Eric Morris in here yesterday. I was talking to Dana Holgerson, and this is going to be that first year without Mike Leach, you know, as part of college football.
Yeah.
Can you put into words just how important he is and the legacies he's left this sport?
Yeah, you know, Mike, I mean, what can you say? I mean, you could talk for hours about the impact he had on the game. You know, really changed the way people thought about football. You know, you have analytics now. Well, Mike Leach was doing analytics before he even knew what it was called. You know, we just went for it a lot on fourth down, and I remember all of us talking about, you know, this is interesting. Creates opportunity for us. This is something that, you know, sets us apart and makes us different. And then, you know, it became a whole industry after really Mike's way of thinking. And so he just had such a huge impact on the game and the way it's played, not only in the college level, but also the high school level and the pro level as well. And, you know, to me, Mike's biggest legacy is not football, but it's just, you know, who he was and the way he was just authentic and himself. And, you know, it's hard to do that. You have so many constituents you have to please in college football. I mean, there's just a lot of people that you have to make happy, and Mike just did it his way. You know, he did, and his whole thing was, look, I'm going to do it my way, and the people will come to understand that there's a reason why I'm doing this, and it's because, number one, it's effective, and number two, it's going to take care of the players that we have and give them opportunities to be successful. So, man, he cast a big shadow over college football. One of the most unique people I ever had a chance to be around. I learned so much from him. He just had such a huge impact on my life and certainly my career.
You know, you're no stranger to shadows, right? I mean, you know, your dad Spike was obviously a legend in this state in college football, and then Mike Leach. How hard or, you know, how difficult was it to kind of build your own way and kind of your own path through this?
Yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to do. You know, I never worked for my dad. Number one, I think we would have killed each other. I think we're probably pretty similar in our thinking and in the way, too similar. And so, you know, I always kind of wanted to do my own thing. Felt like it was important for me just to be able to, you know, however my career went and whatever, however far I advanced, you know, I wanted to be able to say, look, I did it my way, and I kind of did it on my own. Certainly, being the son of Spike Dykes, that opened some doors for me. I'm not naive enough to you know, to deny that, but you know, the thing I was blessed to have a chance to be around him and learn more about relationships than I did about football in a weird sort of way. I mean, my dad was just really, really good at relationships and really cared about people, and I think it showed through, and I think his players knew that about him, is that, you know, he cared about him as a football player, but he cared about him more as a person. And, you know, he cared about the families, and his goal was to make sure that after somebody played for him, they were going to be a better husband, a better father, a better member of the community. And And just also too the importance of developing relationships with coaches and your staff. And we were truly all one big family, and we've certainly tried to emulate that the best we could at places I've been in the past.
My favorite part of this job is I get to kind of go to each of the schools and kind of get a behind the scenes kind of look at some stuff. And everybody talks about culture, but you can tell not every program kind of lives that culture or knows how to establish that culture. Is it as hard as it's ever been to establish a culture in college football today, and how do you go about doing it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it is, because you have so much roster turnover, and so that process has to happen fast. The guys that come into your program have to learn quickly. And then you have to retain enough guys to be able to pass that culture down. And so I think for us, that was the biggest thing we wanted to do when we went to TCU, was to create a culture of transparency. I'm a big believer in being transparent with our players and their families and their parents and everybody that's involved in their process, high school coaches and everybody. And our program's open to the media as much as probably anybody's in college football. And we do that because we're proud of the way we do things. We want people to come and take a look, and we want people to see, a group of people working together to make each other better, and we don't have a lot of secrets really to hide. And so I've just believed in that, and I believe in that culture, of making us better collectively than we are individually. And to me, that's what coaching really is. It's figuring out how to be successful, taking what you have and making something special out of it. And last year's team, in a lot of ways, did that. I mean, those guys were picked 7th in the league. We were able to go to the national championship game because of our culture, and I think that was what kind of spearheaded that season last year. We had a lot of good players, don't get me wrong, a lot of talent, a lot of guys that were really important, but I think we were better collectively than we were individually, and that's the goal.
And then lastly, y'all have that big run, 12-0 in the regular season, win the Fiesta Bowl, play in a national title game. How do you go about celebrating that accomplishment and using that to help in recruiting, but also to put it in the back mirror and go, that has nothing to do with what's about to happen?
Yeah. We did that really after the game. In the locker room after the game. I think that's one of the things that hits everybody is, hey, look, this is the last time we're all going to be here together, and this is the end of this team. This is the end of the 22. TCU football team, and now the 23 team begins, and the journey of the 22 team has nothing to do with the journey of the 23 team, good or bad or whatever. And it's going to be a new cast of characters. It's going to be a new culture, a new way of doing things, a new way of thinking, a new way of dealing with adversity and dealing with success and all the things that the teams have to do. And so we tell our guys all the time, look, we want to learn from last year, positives and negatives, but we also need to understand that it has nothing to do with what's happening right now and the success that we want to have this year. And so that's the fun thing, is we get to pile up all those ingredients again and try to make something special out of it. And again, that's kind of our role as coaches.
All right, Coach. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it as always.